Eli, we're done. Can you make sure you do the punk rock one?
Let's go!
Okay, hold on. Let me introduce you guys, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Primas podcast. I am Cindy. It's my birthday. And I'm here with my beautiful cousin, Jess. Primis, what's up?
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. I know you don't want me to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's your birthday, and we just took a shot of tequila, so we're feeling extra loosey-goosey.
Wait, did you?
No!
Oh, I was like, dang, that's cool. That's real love. Okay. We have some special guests. We have my little tiny short brother. I say that because I'm taller than him. Martini the Weenie's here.
I don't need to impress anybody with how tall I am. Everybody can hear it off my voice, and they can know, oh, this man is as tall as a mountain. Listen to how he sounds. Okay, so whatever. Your audience knows.
I'm just 5'7", and he's like 5'6", so I feel like maybe, you know.
When I stand on my money,
loves you.
But when I stand on my money, I'm like 7'8". So what's up?
Not 5'7", and I don't want to argue on your birthday, but I'm 5'4", and I'm taller than you. So stop.
You're not 5'4", because I'm definitely pushing 5'6" and a half.
You're getting taller somehow?
I know you're
getting taller.
That's
Cindy, you're like 50. You're
50?
like 50 years old today. You're getting taller somehow?
I know.
You're just breaking the laws of physics? Or
my daughter's like, oh, so you're going to get taller? And I'm like, you know what? Yes, I am. And I'm the only person that can do that at my age. Because she thinks like I'm getting older. You know, like when kids are little, they think you're getting bigger. But anyway, okay. So real quick, because they have to log off because I think it's like bedtime for my beautiful nieces. But we have some dad jokes by Camila and Natalia. And I want to give them the floor because they have to log off. But give us your best dad joke. They're really good at these. So hit it.
What is the worst place to hide in a hospital?
What is the worst place to hide in a hospital? In the staircase, in the bathroom, on the bed?
In the ICU.
Oh.
That was a good one.
That is really good. Because I
Robert's
see
in the
you.
background telling her. She actually had a different joke, but Robert's in the background just telling them what to say.
He's like, tell this one. It's my favorite one. Okay, cool. That one was good. Do we have one more before you guys go? All right, go for it.
Nati does, but she's being shy.
I know, Nati. Nati, you still owe me, homie. Never gonna let it go. It's okay. It's an insider. Nati knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, Kami, hit us with your next joke.
What is a pirate's favorite doll?
Song?
No, doll.
Doll? What is a pirate's favorite doll?
Please don't say
me.
Chucky.
A Barbie.
Oh, Barbie. Yay! Thank you guys for coming on. This is good. I love this. So we might be featuring some dad jokes here. We'll see how the audience replies. Just kidding. No, that was beautiful, you guys. Thank you. Do you have to log off now? If you do, go for it. We're going to do our thing, okay? I love you.
I'm getting off. I gotta go do sit-ups until I crap myself. So I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, Martine.
Bye, Martine. Bye, Kami. Bye, Nati. Love you guys. That was so cute. I'm a little tipsy.
I thought you would be. That's why.
Are you? Have you had like a beer?
Half a beer.
Oh, so you're like totally sober.
No, I don't drink anymore, so it's actually hitting me pretty good right now. I'm like the equivalent of a 6-pack.
Whatever. Hey, so real quick, because we haven't done this and I feel really bad and I keep thinking about it, but I want to shout out our music guy. Just kidding, he's not our music guy. But he's the person who did the music to our intro, and we haven't said anything, and I'm like, that's so messed up. Why haven't we said shit? But anyway, I want to shout out Roger, who did our music. If you guys listen to, there's like two different sounds. There's like a nice little flowy song, and then there's like a little punk rock beat at the end. So he produced and developed those, and that's him, instruments, everything. And I just want to say thank you for doing that for the Primas.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Ah, Roger's here.
Sorry. A little cameo. Big
Yeah.
whoa. What are you doing here?
That happens sometimes with our production crew. No, but yeah, so thank you. We really appreciate it. So maybe be on the lookout for his music, you guys. He's a great guitarist.
Mm.
Is that all?
Did you want to say something before
Oh.
you leave?
Oh yeah, I did that all in one take, every instrument.
Really?
So if it's a little, yeah.
So a little quick background, Roger, in case you want to add. But so Roger also plays in my brother's band. So my brother Abraham has a band, and he has always had a band, but Roger just recently is like the new guitarist in the band. So like it's pretty awesome because you're really good. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, it's really fun playing with your bro and well, all your brothers. They all sing, and yeah, it's really fun guys to play with.
Mm-hmm. And Roger is also
Abraham.
Jessica's baby daddy. That's our baby
Yeah.
daddy.
Maybe we were being a little like not shouting him out because we're still a little like subconsciously biased. We haven't healed.
We still don't know where we're at with Roger, so we don't want to say it's exclude. Like we just don't know yet. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. So like we wanted to shout him out for the music, and yeah. All right, cool. So today we're gonna talk about failures. We want to highlight the fact that on social media, most people are mostly about all of us. We all do it. I don't want to say most people. All of us. I feel like most of us do. Is that we highlight certain aspects of our life, or maybe if it's like a super direct content driven page, maybe you're into photography, maybe you're into like drawing, cooking, whatever it is, and that's all you post, then I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about just as we share our lives. I feel like sometimes we get caught up on what is social media, and like kind of like the distraction, like the huge distraction that it causes us is that we compare ourselves to others. I'm super guilty of it, especially when I see like I find a cool YouTube channel of like a pretty awesome amazing person, and they're doing like really really well for themselves, and I'm like, and we're around the same age, and I'm just kind of like, oh, like I'm not there. But it's like so unnatural. It's so normal to compare ourselves to others, but like I wanted this episode to be about it's not good to compare yourselves, because that's not even a thing. That's a thing that we've created, and like society and like materialism and capitalism pins us against each other for profitable gain, but there's no such thing.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Prima, it's like that social construct of a time frame, quote unquote, right? Where you're at this age and you have to have achieved this or be successful in that aspect, which I also agree, and I'm glad we're talking about it right now. There is no such thing as a time frame, and yeah, I feel like that idea stems from that, and comparing people and comparing your lives to someone else's who's completely different and going through different things and what you're going through. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. So I agree. The time thing, like we compare ourselves on so many different scales as women. And I'm not saying men don't compare themselves and men don't have their insecurities, but obviously we're women. And so I can't speak too much because I really don't know what insecurities lie for men, but I really do know what insecurities lie for women. And one of the biggest things that's going around right now is like the Instagram face, where it's basically everybody's trying to like filter the hell out of their like face and their bodies, and they look so unreal. And then we go on there, right, as like regular people, and we're like, damn, talk about like I thought I had like some basic insecurities, turns out I'm not flawless enough, right? So there's that part. And so yeah, we wanted to talk about that. And I also wanted to mention, I guess for my page, it's super like self branding. Like that's my whole entire goal around my page. It's not necessarily when I do share personal things, they're to also tie into my brand. They're not I wouldn't share every personal thing going on because, there's things that I keep private. I'm an open book. So when I say keep private, it's mostly out of respect for others, to keep things a little bit more kind of under control. When you open up yourself too much, right? You kind of like leave room for people to come in to your life and comment. And that's always going to happen anyways. But there's just so many rules, right? There's like so many new behaviors in social media.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of delve into this social media, the filter aspect. And everyone just getting plastic surgery or those BBLs and lip fillers. And I feel like we need to bring back embracing your flaws, Like I remember Prima back in the day, or we would always say, man, we hate our nose. It's such a barajas nose. And I've even thought about like getting a rhinoplasty, but then as I've gotten older and more comfortable with myself and identifying who I am, I'm more comfortable with I'm becoming the person I am and more comfortable in my own skin. And I don't want to change those aspects about myself because let's bring back being unique and being beautiful, because I feel like all these Instagram models, and no shame in their game, but they all look the same. They all have the same figure. And I get it. It's a trend. That's what's considered beautiful. But let's value virtues, where it's a little bit more than the outside appearance. And I know I'm being super cliche, but I am a believer in that. So not only am I going to be a believer in that, and these ideas, I need to show it in my everyday life. So me going to fix whatever flaws I have for, like, I think of myself is not going to make me feel any better, but I need to really tackle those. And then now that I have a daughter, I don't want her to say those things negatively about herself. What if she does have my nose? I don't want her to say she hates it.
And there's literally nothing wrong with our nose, but it's just not right now what the ideal image is of like a thinner nose, right? And when we were younger, like, yeah, I remember like when I get older, like that's the first thing I'm going to fix about myself is my nose. And it's because I was trying to kind of like portray, right? And be this person that I wasn't. And it's just like your outer appearance is only one aspect of you. And it's not even the most important aspect because if you really are like attracted to someone's physical appearance, and like that's the strongest part of them that you're attracted to, they're going to age. And I'm not saying I can't wait, but I do, it's going to be very interesting to see these people that such a young age are getting so much surgeries done. And it's like, we don't know yet, right? Like how that's going to age for them. And so if we are attracted to that aspect of somebody else, it's like that's going to fade eventually. And if it doesn't fade and they continue to get plastic surgery, it starts to make them look different. Like I still don't see plastic surgery in a way that I feel like, oh, that's very natural looking. Like you can always tell, or there's just so many like before and after. And like Jess said, there's just everybody's morphing into looking like exactly, everyone's getting a BBL. So everybody's bodies look the same. And then not everybody, but that's kind of a trend. Or a lot of people are getting like lip fillers, so that's becoming a thing. And again, that's beauty standards right now, right? Like that's what women are into right now, or men or whatever, because it could change in a few years into like the new thing. And so it's going to be very interesting to see. But yes, let's highlight natural, and not natural so much, unique, being unique. I remember before, like in the 80s and 90s, I mean, the more different you were, the more popping you were. And that's just kind of like where my soul is at. Like I'm just like always trying to be like my own unique version. Or if someone's doing something I'm doing, or if I'm doing something someone else is doing, I'm like, no, 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 no. Like that's a turn off for me because I don't want to. I love the unique aspect that we all have. I think that's super attractive.
Same. And it kind of just goes back to like your way of thinking, and I get it. Everyone just has their phones in their hands, and they're just looking at things and seeing it over and over. You start believing these things. So I see where it comes from, but I am glad we're talking about it because it does go back to this topic that we're discussing, like where you don't have to be successful by getting a BBL, there's success in other aspects. And then like that time frame aspect, What points did you have on that, Prima, if you don't mind me asking?
On what?
On the time frame and the comparing of someone.
I guess for me, the one thing that I'm going through right now that I just kind of like, it sparked me like on social media, we never share our failures. And so for me right now, I'm not saying it's a failure, but I definitely do double guess myself. You know, I think a lot of people do, but especially during this time, I've been interviewing to find another job, like a higher paying job, because when I was cooking for people, when I was meal prepping for them, I was doing pretty well. And so I was doing so good. So I would get little part-time jobs on the side while my daughter was in school because I was cooking for people on the weekends. So during the week I'm like, let me still make some money, right? But I don't want to stress myself out. So it wasn't like a serious job. It was like I worked at Panera, I worked cleaning houses, I worked there as a receptionist. I worked right now I'm like cleaning offices. Like I'm a janitor. And I don't get me wrong, I've loved having those experiences because I never have. I've always had like office jobs. I've always been like an organizer. Um, and so like I'd be in the community, but I'd always come back to an office. And like my job was super like it was just I was living the dream and I didn't even know it. And now that I'm going back into like hands-on manual labor, I'm like, whoa, it's so different. And it's awesome, but I feel like a little privileged saying that. It's awesome, you know, because I have more experience, I have more background if I wanted to, which I am right now. You know, I can get back into an office type job. And so I think what was starting to make me insecure was that I was getting a lot of interviews. I feel like I look great on paper, like I have enough experience right on my resume. And then I would get the first interview, like a screening interview, and then I get a second interview, and then I get a third interview, and then I've been in the position where I'm like head to head with one or two other people because they're getting ready to hire someone, and I don't make the cut, and like it just started to play with my head, you know, because I'm like, oh my God, you're a single mom. This is the first time. And I do parallel parent. And so my daughter's dad is in her life. So I don't want to say single mom in that way. I just, you know, it's a scary time where before I was very financially stable. And I mean, I was doing so good. I could have still been a single mom and I was fine. Like I didn't need any help from nobody, right? Right now, since my business went down and like I'm no longer meal prepping, it's like my bills are getting paid, don't get me wrong, but I've never made this amount of money before. So it's like, what are you doing with your life, right? Like if and it's not embarrassing, it's just because I feel like a lot of people fall into those situations where they're super financially secure and then all of a sudden they're not anymore. And so but I'm not afraid. So that's why I don't mind talking about it. You know, is because I feel like it sucks a little bit. It's a part of my journey, it's a part of my process, but my bills are getting paid. I'm fed, my daughter's fed, like we're good. And so I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit a sign of in the universe to tell me like you should be thankful for what you do have. You don't need to make all this other money. I mean, I'm still applying, but also I should be thankful for what I have right now because it's abundance. It's beautiful. We're good.
Yeah. And I like how you're always open in that aspect and talking about it because you do have a college degree. But this is where you are in your life right now. And I like how open you are to the experience because there is no path you should be on, you know, like you are on your own path. And I'm a believer of that and that idea or that way of thinking. And I know you are as well. It is just interesting to me because life, as I've gotten older, I keep saying life is hard. Like, you know, I wish we were more prepared or just thinking about it because in my 20s, I was so careless and free living that I'm like, man, who gives a fuck like what's going to happen tomorrow, you know? And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, if I would have known what I know today in my teens or late teens, you know, it would have made a world of a difference. But the fact is that wasn't the case. I learned through making poor choices in life, you know? And I feel like that's where you are. It's like this hard, like that figure of speech that where they say you're right now in between a hard place and a rock, you know? And life is going to have these moments for us. And it's about us utilizing all those tools we believe in and applying them in that moment. And I think that's exactly what you're doing, because yeah, you could be depressed, you could be super sad, you could be in a lot of different ways when it comes to things you're in control of, but you're not. And that's why I'm glad we are talking about failure, because like you said, Prima, when you brought up this topic, no one talks about it. And it is hard because we're taught not to talk about struggles and only like not show off, but what's that word like?
Like fake, pretend that you got it together when it's like no
Yeah.
one really. I mean, not that no one has it together, but we're all trying to figure it out.
Exactly. And we're always admitting that, like, yeah, we've gone through life for 30 years and we still don't have it figured out, and who knows when. But we're always those curious students who are like eager to learn more and not continue to make the same mistakes. And I think that's what life's all about, you know, like living in the moment and not idealizing,
heed of, heated of.
idealizing all these like fake materialistic things. It's like you said, you have a house, you're healthy, you're wealthy in different means than I think what society would define, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I just go back to that, like, damn, I used to make this much money. I used to make, like, and look at me now. But if everything, like you said, if I'm healthy, I'm good, like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm 100% good, emotionally, mentally, and physically, which I do, I mean, those are my goals in life, is to every day, is to make sure that I'm good, then I'm good as a mom, right? And I'm good as a daughter, as an employer, whatever. And I do show up to my job. I don't care what type of job it is. And I always give it my all, out of respect to the world, to everybody who's doing what they're doing, because I kind of do have that privilege, right? To go in, like, I did. I was just like, what am I going to do during the week? I might as well have like a low stress job, but still bring in money. And so, for anybody who's struggling in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s and their 50s, in any age, it's not really a struggle. Like, let's not look at it as a struggle. I'm sharing and being open because, one, I don't compare myself to others, and I'm not saying that I never have and I never do, maybe even physically sometimes, where I'll be looking at like fitness models and I'm like, why am I not there yet? Right. So it's also like fitness goals that I'm like, oh, because even in the fitness aspect, like the amount of food that I have to eat to get a little bit where I want to be, sometimes I'm like, I don't have time to regulate my diet like that. Sometimes I'm not that hungry. Sometimes I can't force myself to eat more. Sometimes, there's just like little things where I forget. And so, because I'm full, like I'm fine. I feel good. I don't need to eat more. But in my fitness goals, every day I'm telling myself, or every time I go to the gym, like, you could be getting bigger, you could have bigger muscles, but your diet's not on point. But then at the same time, I tell myself, like, you're fine. It's not that serious. Why do you need to look this way? What the hell? Like, your strength, you're building strength. Why do you need to look a certain way? Oh, a certain way. So yeah, let's
Or just
highlight our
take
failures.
steroids. That's
I
also
could
a
just take
solution.
steroids. I know, you're
That's
right.
a quick solution.
That's a quick one. No, but I do want to go a little more natural. But like I said, I have been making progress. I've done so much, like with my diet and my fitness, but we get into that frame of mind where we do comparisons. But I don't know. I think we should start telling more of our stories. I encourage others not to care what others might think of you, because we're all struggling. We're all trying to figure it out. And the people that seem that they have it the most together, they probably do have it more together. But even them, like, we should never compare ourselves, because we just really never know what's going on. A lot of people, when they get to know a little bit more in detail about me, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And it's because they tell me, like, you give off such a positive and peaceful and cool, you always seem like you're just having fun. And it's like, I am. That is a big part of who I am. I am always having fun. That is my outlook in life. But also, the struggle is fucking real, right? Like, there's some shit in my personal life that everybody knows. Jessica knows. Like, my the people closest to me and me closest to them, we know what's really going on. But like, to the outside world, we're putting on like a calm. I'm not putting it out on purpose. That's who I am. But even
you haven't
me.
Yeah, you have that control, and I think that's what we're embracing. We can't control all the bad stuff that happens to us. We understand that's life and it comes with it, but it's also not going to break us. It's also not going to break
right.
our attitude every day. We're out there in our community, in our environment. We choose to like make these choices, you know, and that's what I think makes us who we are, by just saying, hey, yeah, life is hard. I am going through some shit right now. And when we're in that wave, right, we'll talk about it and vent about it, but it doesn't break us. It doesn't bring us back or take us back a few steps. It's just like, okay, well, we're coping with life. We're now adapting to this current environment we're dealing with. And yeah, I hope that makes sense.
The other failure I wanted to bring up, yay, highlighting failures, is for our podcast. Like when I was thinking about this, we had plans to, I mean, we had different goals from the beginning, and a lot of it has been because I'm not making that much money. You know, some things have had to not move forward like we were planning. We just don't have the money for the equipment. We don't have money to invest any extra stuff right now. And but we're still out here. We're still putting ourselves on YouTube, and we also wanted to get on Spotify, and like there's a membership for that, and we're just kind of like we can do it, but why do we, for me it's like why do we got to rush it? Let's just do it when we feel comfortable. We're still practicing. Even though we're putting stuff out, for me, we're still newbies. Like we're still so amateur. We're still making mistakes, and so I kind of feel like we're good. And I'm so thankful. The answer to all of it is always to be thankful for what you do have, and the fact that we have a podcast and we have videos out on YouTube, right? And like I don't care if it's 18 people, 30 people like that watch, like or that listen. That's so huge. That's amazing. That's just I'm so thankful for that. So I think that's the other thing, is to always be thankful for what you do have, because we always want, and I love this quote. I'm gonna bring it up. I brought it up in the in the first season, but Morgan Freeman says this in the movie Lucy. He says humans are more interested in having than in being. And right now, I don't feel like I'm going through hardships. You know, you mentioned the thing between being in between a rock and a hard place, or a place, I don't know, however
Yeah.
that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I do get like a little bit stressed about my situation, where I'm like, this could be going this way, that could be going this way, you know, we start comparing, we start saying like all these things that we could be doing, and then we forget. And I think that's my message. I think that's my growing point, because there's always something in life when you are roughing it, or when things are going weird, that's also a learning lesson. There's something in there, and as the moment you grasp the lesson, it goes away, or it's like, okay, on to the next. So I think for me, it's like, slow down. You're fine. I don't need money for anything. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's something to be thankful for, because there's people that aren't in that position. Or like, I have a podcast that I'm investing in time and money, and it's like, then you're not really doing that bad. You should be thankful for the things that you do have, right? And so I think that's another thing to kind of, when you are looking at a failure, I hate to say that word failure, but in the book The Alchemist, like what he thought was his failures, like throughout the like, oh, am I really missing out on true love right now? Am I really doing this wrong? And at the end, it was like, no, 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 you're supposed to be going through what we call failures and the hardship to get to where you need to be. And so that's just another thing that I've learned, and that's kind of what makes me feel better, is like, no, this is fine, you're good, and this is a part of your life, like it's beautiful.
It's part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't know if, yeah, well, failures or some things and choices I've made in my life were always school. I think that's a huge one for a lot of people. I took me 12 years to get an undergrad degree. And for most people, they do it on average, I think 3 to 4 years, but not me. That one was really hard, because I would always say like, man, am I ready to go to school? Do I want to go to school? And a lot of times I chose working a full time to live in my youth, like my early 20s. I didn't want that commitment. You know, I was like, oh, well, school's always going to be there. My mindset was always like, my youth is now and today. Like, I want to utilize that as much as possible and do thoughty things, you know, because I figured later in life, like I wouldn't be able to. So I really took advantage of that. And look, at age 30, with my daughter being 2 years old, I finished school, and I don't want to stop there. I want to continue. I at least want to get my graduate in something. And then another one was, yeah, like getting pregnant, not the conventional way, you know, which is like, well, we were together for this time period and we got married, or we're living together. It's like I did things such in an odd order where, yeah, it did make things a little hard, but you grow from it and you learn. And here we are, still together and trying to make it work, you know, going at it again for the 10th time. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, but that's what it's about.
Exactly.
It's
And
about
there's,
when like it doesn't. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's no such thing as like, okay, well, we need to be together. Now that we're back together, now we got to get married, and now we got to do this. It's like, okay, let's just take our time. We're still fixing ourselves. We're still working on ourselves. But why can't we be together and coexist and support each other and learn to do that all over again? Build a solid foundation. And I just think, just a lot, like I can use that analogy in different aspects of my life, you know, like just building a solid foundation before I'm able to climb up. And a lot of times I wasn't. I was a very shaky environment. I'm like, oh, I still think I could do it, until I crash and hit my bottom. And then I had to learn the hard way, you know. But nonetheless, those were life choices I made. And yeah, I don't like to say I regret them. I just think I learned my lesson. I look back and I say, I never want to make those choices again. And I think for the most part, I haven't.
Yeah, that's good. So, moral of the story, don't compare yourself to when you see things on social media. It's very natural, but try to remind yourself that we're all trying to figure out our own selves. We're all trying. And I do want to say that, like, everybody here, I think I've said this before, like, on planet Earth, every human, creature, living thing, I don't know, has a purpose. And when people don't find or don't search for their purpose, because I don't know if I found my purpose yet, even though I'm super driven and like outgoing, whatever. I'm happy with who I am and myself. I don't know if I know exactly what my purpose is, but I do lean towards that inclination. I kind of do, I don't know, meditate and kind of ask like for more answers about what do I got to do, or what do I need to do, or more clarity. And I think it's I was reading, or I think I saw a video on it. Like when you don't know what your purpose is, or when you're just living life just to live it, and you're not really geared towards anything, whatever that may be, you start getting depressed. And so if you're kind of depressed and you don't know what's going on, it's maybe because you don't know what to do. And like some of the solutions to that is by setting small goals towards big goals, right? Like if you're like, okay, in 5 years, this is where I envision myself. Well, what can you do today, tomorrow, for the next week, for the next month to kind of work in that direction? Because once I started to get insecure about like, I'm getting all of these interview opportunities, right? I'm meeting these people, and then all of a sudden I don't get the job. All of my other goals fell off. I feel, because I was like, I'm useless, I'm worthless. Like people don't want me. Like I can't go back into the workforce, or whatever it is. Like you start getting in your head. And then my fitness goals were iffy. My nutrition, if my fitness and nutrition, they go hand in hand. So if my nutrition's iffy, then I know I'm not gonna show strength or grow muscle wise. Meditation, I kind of stopped meditating. I don't know. I just kind of started getting more into YouTube, So like I went in on like a vice of mine, I guess, a distraction. And we tend to do that. And I don't think I was depressed, but it's kind of like depressing behavior, right? Where you're just kind of like, you're just not, I'm not giving it my all again. And right now I'm applying again, but now I feel good again. I kind of talked myself into it, and I'm gonna yes, like put yourself out there, and it's gonna be great. And like that energy is very positive, and now I'm creating this energy, and I'm doing really good. I am progressing in my fitness, and my nutrition is getting better. And so yeah, I just wanted to say that if you're feeling depressed, it's because you're not moving physically, you're not challenging yourself mentally. And there's some healing to do with trauma for yourself emotionally. So there's work and you can get better. You can feel better. You just have to think about what that looks like for you because we all have very, very unique situations. We can't ever compare.
And perspectives.
Hmm.
So thank you for being honest and vulnerable, Prima. It's not easy. So this was a good session. See, this is all therapy is all about. You
I
could
feel
do it.
better.
I'm
I
sure
don't
you
feel as
do.
suicidal. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't compare yourselves to anybody. And remember that social media, everybody's just painting the biggest picture. No one's putting up that selfie that they look real in, you know? I've been meaning to. I just my camera is so messed up, like my phone camera, but I've been meaning to capture more pictures of my skin. I have a lot of acne scars. I had a lot of acne growing up, and that's something that I've been super duper not anymore, but like in the past, I was so just embarrassed and like self conscious because it's in my face. That's the first thing people look at, and so I've just been meaning to like for those people that do have my skin type, like textured skin type, like since I don't care anymore and I've kind of healed through that, I want to take real pictures of myself, and not filter them and I kind of do anyways. Like sometimes I do use filters, like the Snapchat filters, like nothing crazy. But still, I'd like to take more pictures that really represent my skin type, so that I don't know if others are like, oh, she doesn't care, and like I don't put makeup on, like I don't hide my texture anymore. I used to like religiously all my life, but once I had my daughter, that's when I kind of to be more natural about I started to be more natural about my hair, about my skin, about everything, my makeup routine, the way that I dress. Like I don't go all out anymore. It's just like very basic, and it's because I'm more in touch with my natural self now. I feel like if someone's really that interested in my physical appearance, if what I'm wearing, my skin texture, I don't need to be with them, right? Like that's a good sign too. Like if there's insecurities that you have about yourself, understand that the right person is that's not going to be a thing. It's just not. They're going to look past it. It's not going to be real. And don't worry about it. Don't worry about showing your true self because we're all flawed. We all make mistakes, but we're all trying our best. And yeah, so cheers to highlighting our failures.
Yay. We're such yeah.
Yay.
I can't think
We're
of a good
so
joke.
amazing.
Yeah, we're so amazing. Even though our glass is like 1/3 full. Psych. Just kidding. It's 1/3
My glass
full.
is all the way full.
Yeah, in your head.
One thing about one thing about me is I always feel like really good. You know?
That's good. That's amazing.
Yeah. And when you feel really good, you put off that vibe, and that's what everybody thinks like, oh, you have the perfect life. And it's just like, what? No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm glad we're shedding that image of like a perfect person, And I'm glad we're using us as an example. That's proof positive right there. How amazing we could be. Our potential's there, our growth.
I think we have good potential to make it in life.
I know you're not
After
a
this
fan of Amanda
conversation-
Seals, but
Why do you always
I
say
know.
that? Why can't you just say Amanda Seals said this?
Amanda Seals said that everyone needs to unlock their skeleton key. And I like that analogy when you said you haven't found yours. And then I just apply it to like, we haven't found our skeleton key. We're really good at a lot of things, but we haven't found that one niche that says like, well, this is what's going to amplify all other good qualities, Because I think when we apply ourselves, we can do anything. And time and time, we just prove that to ourselves. So I think we're on our journey. We're on the right journey, Prima. Maybe it's our podcast. Maybe this is both our skeleton keys.
Maybe this is going to be our thing that makes it. I feel really good about the podcast because I think we've done enough episodes where I'm still very excited because now, sorry, we're like starting to collab. So again, shout out to anybody that would like to collab or that has like a similar message or wants to share your story. I don't know. It's a different journey and like, but I still like it. And I also wanted to say, Damn, what did I want to say? I was gonna say something. What were you talking about? This is our destiny.
Our skeleton key. This is our purpose. It's probably going to be the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's not that I don't like Amanda Seales. I just don't consume her content that much. And like the few that I did, it just didn't grab me. But I don't dislike her. I think she's cool. Damn, what did I want to say? I feel like I was gonna say something. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I
think
said
that's
all my
it.
points.
I can't think straight because
You're drunk of the
I'm
tequila
a
shot.
bit impaired. No, I had a tall can of a Bud Light chelada
I know.
with
A lot
like
of people
5
were
women.
a lot of people were hating on my Bud Light. I'm like, you guys just don't get it. This is my environment. This is all I know is Bud Light. Like, I can't drink negras anymore like I used to. Modelos. Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah, those are always messed up. Yeah, well, I guess we're not big drinkers anymore. We got it all out of our system. I never was too much, so I feel like I got it out of my system in my early 20s. After that, oh, I hated alcohol. I still do. It's
I
just,
remember.
I can't. But
Yay.
I'm super big on weed. No, I'm just kidding. Mostly meth. Just kidding. Crack. Cocaine.
But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. It is Prima's birthday, so we did have the fam bam on earlier. So that was the reason why we had so many little cameos, unexpected
Yeah.
cameos, but they were
That was
fun,
very
right?
precious. That was very precious. It was a surprise. I didn't know they were going to be on. And it's really nice because I feel like I'm out here in Colorado by myself, like with my daughter and my mom, but still very isolated compared to like my life in LA and my family and everybody who's out there. So it was very sweet and I felt very special. Thank you. And thank you, Jess, for putting that together.
You're welcome. Even though you said, Jess, you better not do anything. I just threw that
I
off
did.
the window. I'm like, shut the hell up.
I know. That's how it is anyways.
I
Anytime I
know.
tell Jessica, please don't post that picture. I look like a fucking guy. She's like, but I look hot, so I'm gonna post it. And so ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm not fighting with you over just post the damn thing. But yeah. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Primas Podcast. Please DM us if you have any feedback, if you have any comments, ideas, if you'd like to come on the show, or if you know somebody that can bring benefit to our community. Like, we obviously like talking a lot about psychology and human behavior and childhood trauma. So if you know anybody that you're like, hey, I have a friend who's like a social worker or like a marriage and family therapist or a community organizer. Like, I don't know. There's like a bazillion ways that people can give back. So we're open to that. Please leave us comments on YouTube. Please follow us on YouTube. Like us, share us, play with our algorithm. Give us a little positive karma. Anyways, positive karma your way, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye, bye. Prima's out. I thought you were going to say that.
Oh, yeah. Prima's out.
1, 2,
3.
3. Happy birthday to you. A little faster. Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cindy. Happy birthday to you. Yay.